I'm Lauren, and this is July in my Wonderland 222 journal. So let's look at the front cover real quick. Back cover. This guy is definitely starting to peel up, but I think he can pull through, so I think I'm going to leave it. So first up is the index page, which is where I'm keeping track of, let's see, books that I've finished, important documents or like reference pages that I might want to come back to, knitting projects that I've finished, and then in the case of Lobster Fest, a memorable holiday event that I want to remember. I covered up the 4-year layout with these full page stickers, which are also, I guess, sort of calendar related. But basically I just have no use for the 4-year calendar page, so I figured I might as well cover it with something a little more interesting. On this page, I'm keeping track of mostly my own like important medical stuff, and that's mostly like when was the last time I had blood work done, or like when did I go to the doctor for a cold or whatever. And then I'm also keeping track of the same thing for my cat, because sometimes it's like come back in 3 months and I need to know when is that. I also was keeping track of car stuff. There wasn't that much. And then if my husband has any stuff that like I go with him to, then I'll note that just because I know about it. But mostly I don't track his health stuff. The quarterly pages, which is a really cool feature that I like in Wonderland 222. On the left side, what was I doing this for originally? I think I was doing originally like I wanted to do like gardening type stuff in here, and then immediately gave up on the concept of gardening. So instead I have stuff from World of Warcraft that's here in case I want to follow on whatever's happening that month. And then you'll see it starts sort of at the end of July, but I, for whatever reason, got super into nail polish. So that is what the right side page has become. Here's another full page sticker. I'm not really using it in terms of like marking off anything. I just think it looks nice. Okay, here's the trackers. So here's July, and I feel like I was still at this point stubbornly writing down all the same stuff that I had been tracking in previous months, even though, as you can see, I was clearly not following up on tracking it. Like, I think the only thing I did was meds, and that's sort of cheating because I know that I take them every day because I have to. And also, like, it's the kind where it's like, if I forget, I can, you know, like, take 2 the next day kind of thing. So, yeah, I don't know. Like, I didn't even bother to go back and look up the move stats, which I could have checked with my Fitbit. So, like, I feel like from July on, you can see that my attention to it gets less and less every month. And then, yeah, sleep and steps I am tracking only because I really like how this looks. But I basically get all of this from my Fitbit and just like go through all of the daily data and then mark it in here. And then honestly, I just get a kick out of seeing all the colors together. That's literally the whole thing. I feel like maybe I've never explained this before, but this is just like a collage of, let's say, local ephemera, in the sense that it's just like where I was living for this year. Stuff that I got like either at events or like that were from the neighborhood. And I don't know, I really like seeing this, although I am sad that it's getting bent out of shape because of the increasing size of the journal. Some swatch pages. I don't know if I would continue this in a future journal, but I'm okay with it for now. Does this count as a collage? It's one thing and then a second thing. And then, yeah, let's go to the monthly pages. Here we go. So Wonderland 222 at the beginning and end has like a overview and a like recap page. So on the overview page, I'm tracking the media that I have read or watched or played, restaurants that we've been to, any knitting works in progress, and then orders that I am waiting on to arrive. And I like this. I think I probably forget this part the most, because obviously in the moment, you know, I just go to a restaurant, I enjoy the food that I ate, and then a week and a half passes and I realize that I don't remember where we went and I didn't write it down, which is the fact that I don't remember where we went is why I wanted to write it down, but you know, you can't win them all. Here's the monthly. As I mentioned before, I like to track my daily Wordle on here. I don't always play every day. And then also I don't always manage to write down the words, like my guesses from that day, before they disappear from the app. But I have solved this in later months by starting to take screenshots, and then I can kind of do them in one fell swoop whenever I like. All right, the weekly pages, excuse me. I like to do sort of like a color theme, and I think the color theme was decided. So every week I stuck like a sticker in this left column, and at the time, you know, there was nothing on it. I just thought, oh, I'll put like, you know, to-dos or something here. I don't really know what my plan was here. But the point was that at the beginning of the year, I put a bunch of these stickers on every week. And because they already had a color, I basically used that to inform how I would choose stickers and colors for the rest of that week. And I don't hate that. I do love a matchy-matchy type spread. But also, like, I'm not really using this. So it's just become like a sticker that then lets me decide the colors for the rest of the week. So as you can see here, I started with pink, but then I wanted something a little more fun because this was my birthday week. So I leaned more into like rainbow and red, which are probably more of my like color preferences. Green, love that. And then I don't know why I put this cat here, but I'm really digging it. Here is the review page where I track any knitting projects that I finished, any books that I read, a favorite moment, little blurb, the number of times I used my CrossFit membership, excuse me, a pick of the month, and then like a sticker, ephemera, something that I like received that month or that feels like representative of the month. All right, so let's move on to the dailies, which are here. Great. So this month I had a weird amount of stuff to do in that I had I guess 3 vacations. One was my parents visiting, one was my husband's parents visiting, and then at the end of the month was a vacation that's been in the works for like 5 years. And then in the middle of all of this, I also had a business trip. So this was a crazy month of activities. So this is from my parents' visit. My mom really likes this particular brand of chocolate covered cherries. So I got some of those, and that was really nice because they're delicious. My parents are super into beer, so we went to a couple breweries because we have a lot in Seattle. And we also went to like a local community garden, and I took a bunch of really nice photos of plants there. So I printed them out on these tiny little photo stickers. And I mean, I wish they were larger because they are so colorful and they are beautiful. But I also sort of like this like scattering of colorful flowers on this page. Here we all are. And then, so let's see, my parents left. The next day we had dinner with some friends, and then I went on my business trip, which was to Japan. And let's see, why did I write this? Oh yeah, because I was flying on Tanabata, which is like a holiday where people make wishes. And at some point on the flight, I like got up to go to the bathroom. And when I went to the back of the plane, all the flight attendants were hanging out there, and they were all writing their Tanabata wishes on like the pieces of paper, and they handed me one and they were like, do you want to write one too? So of course I did. And they had basically just like a little tiny tree that they were hanging them on, and it was adorable. And of course I left that there, but when I got back, I wrote my own to sort of commemorate that memory. It was very sweet. And then you'll see that I have the temperature and the humidity for each of the days that I was there, because it was midsummer and it was unbelievably hot and sweaty, and that was really impactful, traumatic for me. So I wanted to just like note like it was this hot on each of these pages. Also, the last day of this business trip was my birthday, and my boss ratted me out to the people that I was visiting with, and they secretly arranged to have like a little celebration for me, which was very sweet. And they got me like kind of like one of the kids' crowns that you would give someone on their birthday. So I cut off the frilly part of that and glued that in. Also, I'm now seeing that I like ripped off the top of this page, and I don't know what happened there. And let's see, on the last day, we had a little bit of time where everyone was like, I have plans, I'm leaving. And so left to my own devices, I mean, I did some shopping and then I walked to a temple that was very close to the station and took some pictures there. When I came back, I didn't do anything at all because I was very tired. So I have some like additional pages dedicated just to other ephemera that I got on this trip. And then, yeah, kind of just coasting. I think I finished this one on the plane. It was okay. This was some complicated feelings that I wrote in silver because I don't like necessarily want to read them again, but I did want to write them out. And then obviously silver on white looked as unexciting as it sounds. So I colored over it with these raindrops, and I think that makes it much more interesting to look at. And then from here, I think this is when my husband's parents were in town. So we were again like going out to dinner, having a nice time. I went to a museum that I have never been to, even though I've lived in Seattle for over 10 years. And then they left. And then on this day, I finished a tattoo that had been in progress for a few months at least. And I recreated it here. I'm really pleased with how this drawing turned out. So on these next pages, I just straight up wrote out an article that I read in The Stranger. I don't know, I enjoyed it and I had pages to fill and I thought maybe that's something I should try. So I don't know, I'm happy with how that turned out, although I am, obviously I like came to the end of it and was like, oh, I can't fit this paragraph here because it's too late. There's not enough space. But then when I finished it, there's so much space left. So I just wrote the title really big. There maybe is a sexier way to wrap this up, but that's how I handled it. And I am okay with that. So this guy over here, was I think a little bit of ephemera that I got in Japan, and it's part of like a card thing. So you would get like this kind of thing. And then you could get a few other like little flower papers, and then you would get a card and you would put all of the flowers in the card and then give it to someone like you're giving them a bouquet, which I thought was very charming. And I really wanted to put it in my journal somewhere, but I thought it wouldn't look good if I put it just like on the white paper with nothing else. But then I really half-assed like the background here. Like, I just like smeared some marker around and it doesn't look amazing. So I feel like the contrast of this really like lovely paper and then this deeply unartistic background is a little disappointing, but also like it's glued on there good. There's no changing it now. So I guess that's just something I can think about in the future. And then here we are at the end of the month, which is, as you can see, Lobster Fest, which is a thing that my friend has wanted to do for years and years. And we finally made it happen. And I was so happy to go. And I ate so much lobster. I have a video about the creation of these pages, which I will link in the description. And then here is the last page and the last day of the month, which is mid this vacation. So look forward to the rest of this in the August video. Thanks for watching, and that is it for July in my planner.